Welcome to Buried Truth, where I tell the wildest stories in the Bible with a mouth that still needs Jesus. This isn't a polished Bible study. It's real, unfiltered, and a little bit messy. Ancient scandals, modern mess, and somehow grace still wins. Okay, let's talk about it. Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, you might have heard the story, or if you haven't, just follow along. I actually was watching this really good video from it's a podcast slash YouTube channel. It's called Under the Hood. And they did such a fabulous job of explaining the historical and the archaeological things that went on during that time. And it's very fascinating, very, very nerdy, but very helpful to paint a picture. I'm gonna kinda zoom in, I'm not gonna go through every little minute detail, I'm just gonna give you the overview, okay? So, Sodom and Gomorrah is this land where people were wilding out, y'all. They were out of control, doing whatever they wanted to do. They were living their life. They had money, honey, they had the money, honey. They had everything that they could ever want. And yet, God tells Abraham something. He mentions that people are crying out to him from Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's gonna go down to see if what he is hearing is really going on. Now, let's be honest, God is omnipresent, omniscient. Is that the right word? He sees all, okay? He sees what we're doing. And when he says, I'm gonna go see for myself, that actually comforts me because it's like he's like, "Let me just make sure before I go out and judge this whole situation, let me just double check. Let me, like, double, triple check." That's how I take it. I could be wrong, but that's where I am. And there's just lawlessness, there's people out of control. So, the angels go into the town, so God sends 2 angels to the town. In the previous chapter, they actually go to meet with, Abraham, and so they decide that, they're gonna go check out Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham's nephew, Lot, had, moved to Sodom and Gomorrah when they both Abraham and Lot's, I don't wanna say sheep, what would I say? People, cattle, all the stuff from back then. I can't think of the word at the moment, y'all. But anyway, so they get to a crossroads basically because they're just too big. The families are too big. So Abraham tells him, "Okay, you pick where you want to go, and I'll go the other way." And so Lot picks Sodom and Gomorrah because it's lush. It's I can just that's my kind of place, right? Not mine, Lot's. So he settles there. So this is, so these angels come to the gate and Lot is at the gate of this city. Now, for some people who may not know, historically, when they were at the gate, they were very high up. Like the judge, people would come and ask them questions and have them go over things. So he has a pretty um high position in the city if he's at the gate. Okay. So he notices these 2 angels and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't be out. Like, you're not safe." Okay. Before you even walk in, a resident of the city is like, "No, no, boo. No, don't go there. Don't pass go." That should tell you something. And so he actually brings these angels to his home. And guests were a big deal in the during that time, and you would feed your guests. It was a big deal to have guests in your home. Not now where we like don't even open our door. Don't come to my house. Don't come to my house. I'm not I wish I had that gift of welcoming people, but when I'm home, I am home. Okay? I'm home. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Text me. And don't be dropping by. Absolutely not. You don't just drop by my house without telling me. Anyway, So back to the story. So he brings these two angels into his home to protect him. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, there's this banging on the door, just loud banging, and guess who's outside? The whole entire town of men is outside. All of them, every single man you could think of. And they're asking him, "Hey, who are those men? Bring them out so we can have sex with them." Er, First of all, hi, nice to meet you. I'm coming to hang out with Lot, and now you trying to take advantage of me? Not today, boo. Not today. And so, but here's the part. Okay, first of all, like I said, that YouTube Under the Hood actually explained it more in depth of what that meant for that culture and all, and it was really fascinating. I'm not going to go into it because I think that everybody should do their due diligence and read and seek the truth for themselves. So anyway, so they're basically want to accost these two angels that just got to town. And Lot, you know what Lot does? You want to know what he does? See, this is why I could not be God, because some of these men, well, and women, they just do some wild stuff. He's like, you know what? No, don't take the angels. Don't mess with them. Here, take my daughters. Wait, you're my daddy, and you're trying to give me to these men, and they were virgins. So there's like, I have two virgin daughters. Take them. Excuse me, Mister. I thought you're supposed to protect me. No, thank you, Dad. Ugh, that just makes me so mad. But that's why me and God are different. He's got such grace for people who are a mess, including me. So back to the story. So anyway, uh, in that moment, the angels stand up and they blind the men and escape, because this is when God's judgment is coming down. And God's judgment is basically hot comments. I don't know what he used because he's God, but he burned the city to the ground, burned it to the ground. Like, not today. Not today. You ain't gonna be acting like this. I give you chance after chance after chance. But now you gonna burn. Not today. So they escape. The angels take Lot and his family and the wife, and they're running away, and they're told not to look back. And that's very fascinating, because can't we agree that there's times in our lives that we're like, "Oh, I wanna look back. I wish. Oh, I want let me grab for that." No, that is in your rear view, boo boo. That is in your rear view. What God is doing is ahead of you. Don't be looking back. Don't be looking back. Granted, I can be grateful for the growth and what I've learned in those situations, but be grateful that God's got something for you, okay? This ain't no like, "Oh, you know, God's gonna give you this and that." No, 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 no. If you really wanna know what goes down if you believe in God, look at the disciples, okay? Nobody had no cushy situation. It's gonna cost you everything, but you're gonna gain God and hope and eternity, okay? Okay, that's just a little snippet. So, they're escaping, and guess who looks back? The wife. Mhm. And she turned to a pillar of salt. Now, I've heard different people explain what that means. I don't know what it means. I don't know if she was a statue. I don't know, but that's what the word says. I'm just gonna go with it. And maybe when I go to heaven, I'll ask Jesus, what was that about? Because if you read the Bible, it is so deep, and nothing is there by accident. So go read it for yourself. Okay. So God saves Lot and his family. Oh, let me remind I missed a part of it. So when God tells Abraham he's going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of their wickedness, he actually Abraham actually asks God to be merciful, and he's like, if there's 50 righteous people, will you save the city? And then he goes 40, 30, 20, 10. And God says, yes, if there are 10 righteous people, I will, not destroy the city. And here's that, like, God did not straight up destroy us, which he could have. If I was me, I would have destroyed you guys a long time ago, because y'all a mess. I'm a mess. We all need Jesus. Let's just be honest. But he's so gracious to the very end. To the very end, he is always gracious, wanting to save us when we don't deserve to be saved, okay? So, that's a beautiful picture of someone standing in between, for others. And so that's a beautiful, beautiful connection to how Jesus is. So, you thought we were doing a lot? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's like a Dateline episode with a mixture of Law& and Order, Special Victims Unit. Yes. Yes. You wanna know what happens? It's nasty. Mm-mm. So, these girls that were virgins, right, and his daughters, you know what these girls do? They sleep with their dad. Yes, they do. And they both well, first of all, they get him really drunk, so he doesn't even know what's going on. Ooh, I've been there, girls. I've been oof. Anyway, not about me. But they get him drunk and take advantage of their dad because 'cause they're so afraid, like, "Oh my gosh, there's no other men in this world, and we're not gonna be able to continue our line because that's a big deal, is continuing the line, of having babies, that was really important. Still is, still is. And so they do this atrocious thing that you're just like, "Wait a minute, God. Hold up." See, if I was God, this is why I can't be God, because, like, wouldn't you only put the good stuff in the Bible if you were, like, trying to, like, show your best part? Like, "Oh, look at me, like, everybody's good, looks good." No, he gets down to the nitty-gritty. He gets to the nitty-gritty and is like, "This is what you guys are doing. Out here acting like fools, but I'm still gonna follow you, and I'm still gonna love you, and I'm still gonna come after you." I heard something really powerful is like, if you go to hell, you're stepping over Jesus. Like, if you end up in hell, it's because you had to step over Jesus, and that's such a powerful picture, and it's like, wow, it's so true. Because I can't tell you how many times I've run away from God. I cannot tell you how many times I've yelled at him, said, "I don't want nothing to do with you. Leave me alone." And yet, I have this picture in my head, and I've shared it before with my friends. It's like have this picture of God, like, throwing me over his shoulder, like, "Come on, girl, stop acting crazy. Stop acting like this, like a spoiled little brat." And it's because of love. He loves me so much, and he loves you so much, and just the grace is so beautiful. If I could tell you my testimony, I would. It's just it's crazy beautiful. So anyway, so what was that all about? What was all that about? That is about who your God is if you believe in Jesus. He is a God of rescue, he is a God of love, but he is also a God of judgment, right? If okay, let's think of it like an outsider, right? Because 'Cause we're like, "Oh, that sounds really mean. He threw down fire from heaven or and, burned a whole city. Oh my gosh, he's so mean, he's so mean." Is he? Let's think logically for a second. If heaven forbid no, I won't go there because that's a hard one. Okay, you're driving and someone hits your car, damages your car, like you got a new car, they damage it, and they're like, "Whoopsie," and they don't pay for it. They don't pay for their mistake. They don't pay for what they did. Okay. Would you be like, "Oh, that's okay. You're good. Good job. You tried not to run that red light. Look at you. It was an accident." No, you like fix my car. Right? Fix my car. Because that's justice, right? God is a God of justice. He's a God of love, yes, but he's also a God of justice. And he says, vengeance is mine. Oh, we want to talk about vengeance? Okay, let's talk about that messy middle because I have a spot for some vengeance, y'all. I have a deep spot. That's why Jesus is working on me, y'all. Okay, back to Sodom and Gomorrah. At the end of the day, it's not just oh, God judged Sodom because of this, and God, it's like, it was not just one thing, guys. It was y'all were out of control. Well, not me because I wasn't there. But there is a scripture, and y'all, I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to take a minute because I was like, which scripture am I trying to talk about? Usually I could have it better. I have it together. Well, not always, y'all. I'm a mess most times. So, anyway, so scripture says and it's Ezekiel, Ezekiel, and Ezekiel is a book in the Old Testament. If you don't know what that is, not the Ezekiel bread, that's nasty. Oh, first, don't even get me started on Ezekiel bread. I tried it one time. I was like, oh, it's healthy. It's like a rock, like a rock. Okay, so this is what Ezekiel says: Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters had pride, excess of food, and prosperous ease, but did not aid the poor and needy. Hmm. Hmm. Does that not sound familiar? Does that not sound familiar? And that was Ezekiel 16:49. There was a lot of sin going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. And you guys, I see the same patterns that we're living in today. And let's humble ourselves and realize that we need a change of heart, that we need a change of direction for ourselves. Because we can look at everybody else and be like, well, I didn't do that. Well, and I didn't do that sin. Well, and I didn't do that sin. It doesn't matter. One sin is against God. All sin and fall short of the glory of God. Our righteousness is filthy rags. Meaning no matter how much you do, no matter how much you think you are, have got it together, nothing we do is ever going to be enough. That should give you hope because we're going to fail till the day we die, but there's a God who sees and loves us and wants a relationship with us. Okay? Okay. Now, this is the messy middle where I get a little unhinged. This is a book. This a book. This is a podcast that is always ends in hope. But heaven ain't getting to heaven ain't a straight line, y'all. It's messy. It's like going off the rails, going off the script. That's my life. Yes. Yes. And what was I trying to say about vengeance? Oof. Does anything ever happen to you where you're just like, you know what, Lord, I know you say that vengeance is yours, but can I just have a minute or two? Like, can I just like, not to say that I don't, not to say that I don't have a little smart mouth or have things to say. That is who I am. And you know who has a child just like her? Me. I have a son just like that. He has just as whew, but it's funny. Anyway, so why am I talking about vengeance? Why am I talking about this? I'm going to tell you guys a story about something that happened recently, and I was hot off the press, hot, because it had to do with my son. And any of you mamas or someone who loves children, you want to protect your child, right? You want to make sure that they are safe, they are loved, they are um, looked after, right? No matter how old they are. My baby is 24. That's my baby. I don't care if he's 24 and 6'4", he's my baby. I still whoop your ass. I know you're tall. You'll just fall. You'll just fall. I'll just knock those legs out. You mess with me. They know. They know mama don't play. But he's doing so good, y'all. He was struggling for a bit, and I think I shared a little bit before, but he was finally got a diagnosis of autism 1, and it took 20 years to get it because his daddy that mofo. Mm. Have you ever been like, "What did I see in that person? Was I blind? Was I deaf?" Because anyway, but he's my baby's dad. We were married. Yes, and so I thought that was what love was until you realize, no, that person is selfish and he needs Jesus. He needs Jesus just as much as I do. Anyway, back to the story. So when my son was young, he was referred to a UCLA in California for autism to get tested for autism because he had it. My baby had needs. I could tell, and even though he was my first baby, it was just a little bit different. And I'm not saying I was the perfect mom. I will not say that, y'all. I was struggling when I had him because I had something called postpartum depression. Oh, it was brutal, y'all. It was brutal. And so I beat myself up a lot. I know. I talked to Rachel, my therapist, about it. How, you know, I wish I would have done things differently. But, I realize now that God doesn't make mistakes when he gives you your children. They are meant to be. And so my son and I have had plenty of conversations of, me being sorry, but he loves his mama. He does love his mama. Anyway, so we get this referral, and his dad and I were going through a divorce because he stepped out with a woman of the night. No, she's not a woman of the night, but she might as well been. Anyway, so we were going through divorce, and we get this referral, and his dad said, "No, no, we're not doing that," because at the time we had, I don't know if it was 50-50, whatever it was, but the agreement was both parents had to agree to anything health related for our child, I should say. Anyway, but he had behaviors, he had IEPs. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just it's something that you get from school. Like the schools, they help your children individualize education. I don't know what P stands for. Anyway, it just gives your kids all of the access to things they need. They need a little bit more help. So anyway, he was on IEP his whole all the way up through high school. And so after he got diagnosed, I was like, well, I'm following up, getting him appointments to help ease him into the transition and therapy, things like that. And it costs money. And so I had an appointment set up for him, and I was like, $300, $300, but we'll make it work, right? We'll make it work. My husband is the best. He's just the best. He's like, baby, we'll figure it out. We'll take care of it. Don't worry. I'm like, that's not the point. That's not the point. His dad needs to help too. So I call his dad and I was like, hey, so I got an appointment for Nate, and it's going to be $300. So would you be willing to split that with me? And he's like, no, he's grown. He needs to be grown. You need to treat him like a man. He can do it. Okay. It's not that my baby can't do it. Okay. But technically, yes, our son chronologically is 24. But in reality, it's more like a middle school. He has a job, he's an electrician, he gets it done. So I'm proud of him. My husband actually helped him get the job because he is the best. Anyway, back to the story. I got hot because you know why? Vengeance. Because I went off and I was like, at first I hung up on his ass because I was like, fine. And then I decided to text him and his wife, and basically texted like, I don't know how open he was with his wife about our son's diagnosis and how much he shared and da 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 da. So I was like, I laid it all out, and I was like, had we done this 20 years ago, we wouldn't be in the state. He would have had so much more help, and he would have been more um grounded. And then he said, well, maybe you need meds. And I was like, bitch, I am on meds. That's why I'm not driving 6 hours to come mess you. Don't you? You don't know how lucky. Ooh, therapy, medication, and Jesus. Therapy, medication, and Jesus. That's all I'm going to say. Do you know how angry I was? The rage. I actually started crying. So when I get really, really mad, I'll cry. And I was crying. I was upset because I'm like, once again, my son is his needs are getting ignored. And that's not about to happen on Mama's Watch. Not today, boo. Not today. And I felt like I was justified. I'm like, you get to just go off and go spend all the money you want on yourself and don't want to help your baby. Okay, got it. I'll figure it out. Okay? Got me all in my feelings right now. Anyway. So what is this? What is this all about? This messy middle. In all honesty, I was gonna go off about what's going on in the country, but I don't need to do that because y'all could see it. And it mirrors today. It's a mess. You need a nap, and you need some Jesus, you need a nap, and you need a snack, and we need to let's regroup, you guys. Let's regroup. We all have our opinions, okay? And the only opinion that matters is what God says. Okay? And that's your messy middle. Okay. Let's bring it back. I'm going to ask y'all a question, which I want you to ponder about this episode. Because sometimes, well, a lot of times, we can read something and be like, thank you, Lord, that I'm nothing like them. And then something happens in our life, we're like, wow, I'm just like them. And that's the reason it's in the Bible, to teach you that no one has it together, and thank the Lord that He has it all together. So, my question is, where in your life right now are you starting to believe that no one gets to tell you no? That's me every day. I'm just, this is like, you're not gonna tell me what to do. I'm grown. But honestly, ask yourself that question and bring it to God. Talk to Him. He's waiting to hear from you. Okay? Okay. And if this story stirred something, maybe some questions, maybe a little pushback, maybe you need some prayer, or you have your own messy middle, I love to hear from you. You can reach out at buriedtruthpod@gmail.com. And you don't have to have it figured out, because, honey, I don't either. I'm a mess with a little bit of sass, but a lot of hope. Okay? And before I close, I want to take us under the noise, which is a book recommendation that I'm going to give every week to help us step out of the crazy headlines and into a good book. Because, y'all, it may look like the world is on fire, and it is sometimes, but let's shut it all off, get into a good book, and I have just the one. It's called The Kremlin Conspiracy by Joel Rosenberg. And if you like geopolitical suspense, you got the FBI agent. I don't think he's in the FBI, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Just go with me. That kind of fun stuff, like a Jack Ryan kind of thing. Yeah, that's my jam. Then this book's for you. So tell me what you think. And until next time, stay curious, stay rooted in truth.